Hey everybody, it's Jason.
And Julie.
So, first things first, road to the Rockies. We're under 2 months and super excited. We're kind of going through and doing last minute tweaks. Got the truck ready, got the fission ready, everything's ready. That being said, if y'all remember the Mudbusters install video where we went and added the fender flare extensions from Mudbusters, one of the things that I've been standing on all these videos since this started 14 months ago, one of the biggest things I've been standing on is we don't ask for handouts. We buy everything out of our pocket. That way we can give you an honest opinion and nobody's feelings get hurt. Well, this video is a little bit different. So the Mudbusters, we went through, done a video of the install, super happy with the way they installed and all that. And one of our biggest things was they're made in the USA, and that was a big deal for us. So Julie, what you got?
So after that video, I ended up getting a response from Mudbusters themselves. They were saying, hey, if you want to try out one of our products, give it a review, we'll send you a pair. So surprise, surprise, we ended up getting a set of the lowers from Mudbusters.
Yeah, that's right. And
we're going to install them, do an unboxing. We received them a few days ago, and I haven't had a chance to open them yet due to work, but we're going to try this installation, and then a separate video we'll do the test out on them. So here we go.
Alright guys, so I'm going to get shaky for just a minute. I do apologize, Miss Julie. So, we all know we got the Mudbusters uppers. What these are is the lowers. So bear with me for a second. So they're going to go in this area right here. Now, I don't know how it's going to work with my rock lights, and we don't run Nerf bars yet. I haven't had no need in them, and I'm going to do, before this video is over, I'm going to back up and do a review of the uppers now that we've had them on here a while. But right now we're going to start working through this right here. So this area right in here is where these lowers go. Alright, y'all bear with me. We're in another part of the shop, so I don't have the table and all that. Actually, just got this thing set up on the back of a four-wheeler right now. But we haven't opened them, haven't done that. Alright guys, so we got them unboxed, and just like the original was, they come pre-formed, pre-bent, same type quality, really nice. They come box of hardware with, looks like 5 more pop-up pins. Woo! Got another sticker. Got some really nice instructions, and that's what we found out with the uppers that we put on. The instructions were just jam up. There's a lot of time went into their research and development and the way they do their instructions. You like the instructions, did you?
I do. They're easy to understand, clear. Couldn't complain.
Okay, so if you're not, y'all bear with me a minute. One thing I've noticed, so my rock lights, my whites, y'all know we got white and red rock lights, but my white light right here, this is going to be an issue. I'm going to have to modify these, because what they've done, this bracket right here, these are intended to basically cover that up, okay? I can already tell you it's going to be a great fit. It's going to be nice, clean look. Problem is there's no allowance for this bracket right here. And this bracket right here, I had some stainless laying around the shop, and I made me a rock light mount to shine directly on this wheel for when we're rock crawling at night. Now, I'm not willing to lose that light to cover this hole. So we're gonna have to tear in. I'm gonna have to take a Dremel tool. I'm gonna have to cut me a slot somewhere in here that's gonna let this little bracket slide through this and then bolt back up. So what should be a very simple, fast install is gonna obviously, as usual, turn into a whole gom again. Okay, so this, per Mudbusters design, looks to be a very straightforward and simple install. This little slot right here would actually go over this Nerf bar mount right here, like that. And you just kind of roll this thing up into place, and right here you've got a factory pin right here. So that factory pin actually, once these are in place, that factory pin is going to work like that.
Is there a factory pin on the back, or does that one have to be drilled?
No, this one's going to have to be drilled right there. So not a big deal. The problem I've got though with their design is they didn't give us no way to incorporate the use of this bracket. Now, this bracket is what holds my rock light. And for me, that rock light is so crucial during nighttime rock crawling that I've got to modify this for that light, because if it comes down to that light or this, it's going to be the light. So there is nothing that gives us the ability to use this bracket. It's solid right here, and I mean, that's fine. I just want everybody to know that if you're using this top bracket for a light or any accessory, name your accessory, these don't allow for it. So obviously you've got your Nerf bar mount down here, but this top bracket, which for me is absolutely necessary. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take a Dremel tool with a deburr bit, and I'm going to have to cut a slot right in here to let my mount go through for my rock light, because I do want these on here. They're really cool, and honestly, this should have been a 5-minute install, but because of my engineering with the light and everything, this is probably going to take a couple hours. That's why I moved the buggy over here in the air conditioning. So let me work through this and I'll let y'all know how I did it and all that. Alright guys, girls, aliens, whatever. So what I done was I took the nastiest stuff known to man, gasket maker, and I put me a little bit of gasket maker right here on this bracket, and rather than guessing and pulling 15-20 measurements with a tape measure and all that, I just put a little gasket maker and it gave me my dot. Now from that dot, what I know, the way this is curved, I know that that's this bracket right here. So now what I got to do is I've got to cut, just like they cut this slot right here for this, I've got to now cut a slot right here so that my light mount can go through that and bolt back into place. So that's what I'm working through now. So I gotta get 15 rags and wipe this crap off. So we know it's 2 inches. Burn 1, so 3. So we need a slot from this bend right here down to 2 inches, and I need it to be, that's 1/8 inch stainless. So I'm basically going to mimic what they done here, but only 2 inches long. So I'm just going to cut a slot with the Dremel tool so that works. Now, alright, so we're ready. So let me show you a little something, guys. Most of y'all probably know about this, but if you're dealing with plastic, a Dremel tool and this little deburr bit, I don't know if you can see that or not. Man, there ain't no other way. I don't care if it's a car, side by side. This is the trick for working with plastic. It's very controllable. There's no heat involved. It's just a nice, clean, smooth cut for execution on plastic. Razor knife is so dangerous with heat and all that. This thing right here, I mean, this is a cat's meow, I'm telling you. So what we've got is I've got to modify this Mudbuster to work with my rock light, and I've put it on there 2 or 3 different times, and because you can't get behind it, there's no access, it's basically a guess at this point. So I know my length, I know my width. Now what I've got to do is I've got to just suck it up and make the initial cut. We're going to test fit it. I've cut the light off, and we're just going to work through this. So I just want to show y'all how great this works for doing a nice, clean, professional looking cut on anything you're working with. So here we go. Exactly 2 inches. Alright, so when it's all said and done, we should end up with something that looks something like that. So I've also got to come in here and cut me a hole for my wire. So that's what we're doing next. So right there is what it's going to look like when it's all said and done. As you can tell, it fits right up in that housing right there. I mean, even a blind hog finds an acorn every now and then, because that was a dumb look. But got it cut. It fits well. This thing's going to bolt up. So as far as a mock-up goes, I couldn't ask for it to be any better. That worked out pretty good. Again, this ain't a Mudbuster thing. This is a Jason thing where I mounted this light. I'm having to modify this to work with it, but just a little time, effort, and aggravation, and everything's going to work out really well. So here's the slot we cut with the Dremel tool, and then here's my light, and it goes right into the mount on the inside. So that's kind of what you're looking at.
What was that hole for?
Well, in my genius, I forgot about the wire. So this gives me an access for my wiring without having the wire trying to run through in here and getting pinched and eventually failing. So I give it its own its own raceway, and then that way nothing's bound up. There's no binding, nothing's rubbing against nothing, and we don't end up with an electrical short out on the trail.
So for the wire connections, we use the Kuject solder butt splices. We got these off of Amazon. Let me show you one of them, one of the larger ones, a little bit easier to see. So these have a solder center in them, so you'll end up taking that wire, stripping it a little bit longer to where they go past each other, heat shrink it down, and this outer flexible jacket is actually a heat shrink. So with that, what we do, this heat shrink box here, we've got different sizes. We've ordered a bunch of this stuff off of Amazon. These are Wirefly, and that's just different various sizes from 1 inch to 1/8 inch is what we use. Now here's my little mock-up here. So here's our light. Zoom in. There is our light and our wire stripped out with a connection over it. So from there we'll end up putting one on the other side as well, and that'll get heat shrunk down, and each one of those will end up getting their own heat shrink over it. Now if I know my husband, he's going to probably put one over the whole unit, just as a secondary precaution, because we usually double heat shrink everything, just because the potential for water, especially at the bottom of the buggy. So that's what we use.
We got the first one on. Again, I'm not partial, I'm not impartial. I'm just telling you what I think. But that Mudbuster lower inner, it just fell right into place. If you wasn't using that bracket as a rock light bracket, these would install probably, I don't know, 10 minutes for both sides. I'm probably 40 minutes in on this one, just because of, you know, I'm not riding without the rock light, so I made it work. But the Mudbuster just fell right into place. The instructions calls for a 5/16 bit. I do want to show you, here's your factory push pin, and here's the ones they send. If you can see the difference, there's just a little bit difference in length, but it matters. This one wouldn't quite seat. And Julie, if you want to show them, let me cut that light off.
Okay.
So there's your finished product. You've got 2 pins. You got one you got to add there. That one's a factory pin, and the rest of it just kind of sets up in the cradle.
Really nice fit.
Really nice fit. Just falls right into place, and the bracket down there is still available for your Nerf bar.
And had we not had the accessory for the light, it really would have been an easy installation.
Yeah, just slap it in, pin it, go about your business.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting ready to start the driver's side. I just wanted to give you a heads up and show you what all we're covering with these. When those fender lowers go in, see where there's all this mud down in here? Those are going to prevent that. I wish we'd thought about this sooner while we were doing the initial build, but that's okay. Here we are. As you can see, we've got wiring running all over in here, so that's also going to give it secondary protection against everything. Now, one thing that you do want to watch out for, and they do give you the instructions, is on the center bolt, you've actually got a voltage regulator back up in here, so make sure that you're not drilling all the way through and hitting that. But we're going to dig the existing mud out here and get started on the driver's side.
Oh, so we're on the driver's side. So look, here's my custom light bracket that I built. And again, if it wasn't for that, come in here, just pop right into place. This little slot again goes over your bracket down here, and then it just pops into the inner right here. So if it wasn't for my light, right there, drill 3 holes, pop 3 pins in, and this side would have been done. That easy. But for me, it's not going to work like that.
So how much space do you have between that back panel and the voltage regulator?
Oh, so the instructions talk about the voltage regulator, but you probably got about that much room. So as long as you don't come in here and just send a drill bit all the way to the hub, you've got plenty of room. I can get 2 fingers between the plastic and voltage regulator. So you've got about that much space that when that drill bit goes in, you've got plenty of room. They're just telling you to be careful, and I agree with that. But it's not like it's flush and flat. You just, you know, as long as you halfway act like you know what you're doing, it ain't a problem. Alright. So what we learned from the first one was that this angle for this bar and that this angle of this one, optically they look like they're kind of off a little bit, but they actually line up pretty good. So what I did with the blue, I know where my bracket's at, and I'm just kind of guessing again where I need to cut for my light. And as you can see, and by looking, these two are lined up pretty close as far as up and down. So I'm just trying to guess where I need to cut it. At the end of the day, it don't really matter, but get a little closer than we did on the first one. I'm happy with the way the first one turned out, but if I can get a little closer, a little cleaner, I like it a little better. So
Let's do it. What do you think?
well, again, it's gonna work out great. I'm gonna go ahead and drill the bracket, the hole for my wire. So I need to turn it over. Give me more. And like I said, that dang gasket maker has gotten everywhere. Alright guys, just to kind of recap, the Mudbuster lowers, they just fell into place. They're molded perfectly. You can tell a lot of times went into the research and development of this. They just fell right in. The issue we had was self-inflicted because of my rock lights. But I think we drilled 4 5/16 holes, push pins. I mean, it's a 10-minute installation if you ain't messing around with that top bracket. Buggy's been built for weeks now, and I'm not going to re-engineer the rock lights, so we just cut some slots and did all that. On the other side of that, I owed you a couple. Let's get shaky. I owed you a couple answers or a review about when we done the initial. I thought I was going to have to come back and cut these for what we do, but we got these things twisted up on a few rocks, some really nasty crawls, and these never drug. I tried to drag them, I tried to break them off the buggy, whatever you want. Couldn't do it. They the way the angle is, the 2 or 3 times they did hang up, they just flexed right on past it, and we went on. So I'm not going to trim these down, because we did several different angles, several different trails, several different climbs, and never hung these up as far as them being in the way. They did catch, and you can see they're kind of marred up. The 2 or 3 times they did catch, they just drug right on past, and they didn't break, crack, none of that. So the other it's not an issue, okay? It's physics. I hate this dog ear look right here. The way this thing's over time, it's just sagging on down. That's, again, I don't believe that's a Mudbuster issue. I believe it's physics. You've got this much material hanging this far out, and it's not supported. So after hanging Tennessee mud, Arkansas clay, and Mississippi gumbo off these, we've managed to sag them. Now, I don't know if I can come off this tail light with some kind of L bracket and a gusset to hold this up. If you don't care, it don't matter. But me personally, I really want this thing to kind of hang level, and or maybe even up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a heat gun and I'm gonna heat this surface area right here, and then we're gonna reform it and then cool it with water and see if it don't take being reformed a little better than it just hanging out here flat. Again, this is not a problem with the Mudbuster. The Mudbuster's great. The coverage is awesome. It done everything it's supposed to do. The problem I've got is I've got to figure out a way, and it's a personal preference. I hate this. I hate this sagging. And you can see here, it's both sides doing the same thing. No issues with the fronts. They've not done nothing but protect the buggy from flying debris. You can see the 32-inch carnivores. I've got them set to their widest setting, and they just about cover everything. So it cut the mud slinging down by, would you say 80%?
More than that.
It's unbelievable how good these work at doing what they're supposed to do. So again, here's our lowers installed with our rock lights, so it can be done. It's just gonna take you a minute. That's the passenger side. And then there's the driver's side. And like I said, if you ain't got lights, you ain't using that top bracket, it's about a 10-minute install. Julie, did you run the money?
I did. So this is the company, mudbusters.com, and it's mud-busters.com. If you go to their website, the lowers are $69.99. I think it's going to be well worth the money and the time spent installing them. We ended up paying, was it $219, $220 for the full set of the uppers?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a $220. You know, if you're buying both uppers and lowers, you're going to be in around $320, and that's pretty much middle of the road.
It's money well spent.
Yeah, and you might beat that on Amazon, but I'm going to tell you right now, for the quality these are, and made in USA, and it's worth the money. I like them. I dig them. Alright guys, close this thing out. For those of you following us, it's been a great journey. We're down to under 2 months. We're headed to the Rockies. We're taking MG. We're taking the DR. My next video, I'm actually doing a test ride on the DR. I've changed the ratio up a little bit, and we've talked about that in other videos, but I think I've got the ratio I'm going to run in Colorado. And my next video, I'm going to put the helmet cam on, and we're going to take a ride on the DR, interstate, highway, some gravel road, maybe even some fire trail riding, and make sure it's what I want and I don't have to change it out. But for those of you that's been following us, hanging out with us and commenting, it's been great. You've enjoyed it, right?
Absolutely.
She's had a lot of fun with it. Keep following us. We're under 2 months. We're taking this whole circus to the Rockies. So we appreciate it. If you're just stumbling on this mess, hit like and subscribe. We ain't trying to make a living at this. We're just having fun with it, trying to help the next guy out. Is there anything you want to say?
There is. Thank you to Mudbusters for the lowers. Really appreciate it, and can't wait to do our final trail review on them.
Yeah, so we're going to take them out, get them nasty, beat them up, do what we do with them, and then we'll give you a review on it. I don't expect any issues, any problems. Nice, tight, clean fit. Definitely thank you, Mudbusters. Wasn't looking for a handout, but you signed up for it, so we appreciate it. Anything else?
That's it.
Alright guys, until next time, thank you. So keep on hanging out, hanging on until next time. Enjoy the ride.